in the future, for some reason, if we had some type of loss of income in our home, knowing that we have no mortgage payment to worry about, we would be so at peace. Welcome back to our channel. Thank you for tuning in for another video. On Friday, our balance updated. We made our normal $2,000 payment that included our minimum of about $1,070, and our mortgage servicer's website updated and let us know that our scheduled payoff is officially 15 years from our closing date. Of course, if you've been watching our videos, you know we are not stopping at 15 years. Our goal is to pay off this house in 5 years from closing date. Of course, we have to document this milestone. It's a great milestone. I do not take it lightly at all. Being able to pay so much extra on our mortgage, that we are now at a 15-year mortgage instead of a 30, is so exciting. It gets me so pumped up because I feel that the end is so near. It lets me know that all of our hard work adds up. Every extra dollar that we put towards our mortgage, it has a benefit and a result that we are able to see every time we make a payment. We did mention this in this video right here, but we are going to be saving over $100,000 just by paying this mortgage off in 5 years instead of 30. That is a lot of money that we could do a whole lot of things with. We know that there are a lot of different things that people would rather do with their money rather than paying off a mortgage. But for us, the end result that we're really looking for is financial peace. We want to limit and lower our expenses as much as we possibly can. And one way that we can do that, it's not an easy way, but it's the way that really is working for us, is by paying off our mortgage. Anytime we hit any type of milestone, it really is just a proud moment for me. We don't get to hit milestones as often because this mortgage, it started at such a huge balance. So at times it can be easy to get discouraged when you have a huge balance, something like a mortgage. So like I said, whenever we are able to hit a milestone, you feel that much more great. You know that you're making that much more progress. Even though I wasn't previously a fan of the new website because there were still so many kinks they needed to work out, I'm glad that they do have a website now that easily lets us know what type of progress we're making, when our scheduled payoff will actually be with all the payments that we have made. If we choose to pay the minimum for the rest of our loan, so until 2035, we would have it paid off at that point. And that's really a great feeling at the end of the day. But for us, the journey to home ownership, it wasn't an easy one either. It took a lot of different things to get us here, to even be prepared to buy a home. The first step to tackling a monster like a mortgage is changing your mindset. We first changed our mindset when we decided to try to pay off all of our consumer debt. Because our consumer debt was over $100,000 on its own, we knew that we were not going to be ready to buy a home with the amount of consumer debt that we had. So we first decided to pay that off. And we had to change our mindset at that point because we worked so hard and we sacrificed and we didn't eat out. We didn't just take random shopping trips and things like that. Because of what we did at that point, we knew that we didn't want to go through it again. And that was the first time we changed our mindset to say that we don't want to continue going into consumer debt. After we paid off our last car loan in 2019, we decided we did not want to get a car loan again. So what we decided to do is take one of those cars. We sold one of those cars in 2021. We saved up a bunch of money on top of that so we could take that money and buy our first SUV. Since we have 2 kids, we needed the extra space. We had a sedan and a hatchback and it was super tight. Our kids were kicking the back of our seats and we could feel every single kick. So we definitely needed more space with growing our family. It was a great feeling the first time that we drove to a dealership. We were able to write a check for my first SUV. My husband did have one in the past. Instead of having to think about when our next monthly payment would be due after leaving, we didn't have to worry about paying anything at all aside from the check that we had just wrote with the money that we had saved and the car that we had sold to pay for it in cash. So that's just the first step. Is really for us, it was deciding that we're not going to continue to get into consumer debt. Now, obviously, none of us can predict the future. We know that anything can happen in life, but if we can control it, we have no plans to get back into consumer debt. And at this point, with us paying off our mortgage, we also would like to not have a mortgage again either. The whole process with getting a mortgage, you kind of feel at times that you really have to bend over backwards, and at the end of the day, for what result? To borrow money. Of course, there's nothing wrong with getting a mortgage, and we're so happy and thankful that we were able to get a loan to buy this home and live here. The process within itself and up until closing, there's a lot you have to do. It's like if I decide to deposit a large amount of money into my bank account, then all of a sudden that's an issue for me to process this loan. There's a lot that goes into it. And again, absolutely nothing wrong with it. But personally, if it's up to me, I don't want to have to get another mortgage, especially after taking the time and sacrificing so hard now to be without a mortgage. I definitely don't see myself jumping to go get another one. Now, that's not to say we're going to live in this home forever, but at this point where I'm at, I am so happy. I'm so thankful that this home is way bigger than the apartment we were living in just 3 years ago. Comfortably fits me, my family, my kids, more than enough space for us. We have a large backyard. We invested in a fence so our kids can run around freely. It's a home that we're just so thankful for. At this point in my life, I can't ask for anything more, but I do know that nothing is definite in life. Our circumstances could change in the future, so whereas we may want to end up living somewhere else. What I'm most comfortable with is taking this home, taking the equity from this home to try to buy another one. On top of that, obviously saving a lot of money to buy a home in cash. And a lot of people, they would hear me say that and they'd want to laugh. They think it's so crazy, but that's what we'd like to do. Another way that we really changed our mindset was just realizing that if we want to change our life and no longer be so overextended by all the payments that we have going out of our home, then we have to make a plan to actually pay this off. I know there's a lot of talks that people have the debt that they have no plans to pay it off, or they feel they never could, but making a plan to actually sit down and do it is where it all begins. Writing down all of your debt and saying, okay, how much is this minimum payment? How much is that? And saying, okay, I can do this. Or if I feel that I can't, I'm going to make a plan to do it. For me, thankfully, my job has had overtime available on and off for years. So that's something that I've always taken advantage of. If you're someone who feels like you don't make enough, or your debt is so much larger than what you make, it's so important to increase your income, and that's exactly what I did, and that's also what my husband did. With him being in the nursing field, there's opportunities to pick up shifts, and with myself, I would work a lot of overtime and increase my income. So before, whereas I could only put $300 extra on my debt each month, now all of a sudden it's $600 extra that I can put on my debt each month because I'm working more to be able to decrease my debt more and more each paycheck. Another great side hustle that I would do was driving for Lyft, DoorDash, these gig apps. They are super easy to get signed on with. So that's something that I also do. That's something I still do to this day to make extra money overtime. And these gig apps are something that I swear by. If you have a car and you have a driver's license and you can pick up food and go drop it off at someone's door, I definitely strongly suggest it. It's extra money at the end of the day. It's money you didn't have before. That's a lot of what goes into it. It's no longer having the mindset of I can't do this, or I won't do this, or I don't want to do this, or I deserve to buy this and buy that and buy this. But all of that really adds up, and there's nothing wrong with buying what you want, but just put money aside to take care of it. Excessive spending is where a lot of us really get ourselves into trouble. If you haven't already seen my 2023 video where I talk about all of our goals and resolutions, what we're focusing on this year is limiting our spending, being more intentional with our spending, for focusing on buying things that we actually need rather than using it as retail therapy, which I did several times in 2022, realizing that that's not helping our spending, that's going to hurt it. So I had to take a step back from it, which it's also been a little hard lately because I said that I didn't want to buy any clothing this year. But now, on this point, in the last 9 months, I've actually lost 35 pounds. So it's getting a little hard because all my clothes are really big for me. So we're gonna make it work because summer is coming up and I have a lot of shorts that are like spandex and those should fit pretty well. One thing I really had to do when we were really in the thick of paying off our consumer debt, which was about 2018, that was probably the hardest year because we paid the most off, but we were also working the most. One thing you really have to do is stop yourself from comparing yourself to others. Of course, in 2018, we were all working in person and there was a lot of things that could easily influence you. Your coworkers getting takeout or delivery every day and them leaving on time every day, even simple small things like that, whereas them leaving and you'd love to go home, but you're actually going to stay at work a couple extra hours, or, you know, having to deal with people asking you why do you want to pay off debt? Why are you working so much? Don't you have a family to go home to? So you have to deal with a lot of people talking about your situation, telling you their unsolicited opinion, and just watching, even observing the way other people are living their lives, whether it's what type of car they're driving or how they're choosing to spend their money. Would I rather have a car payment and have a super expensive vehicle? Or would I rather have no car payment and no student loans? And now I'm using my money for something else, which is beefing up your savings accounts or paying on a mortgage. And a lot of times we get questions, how are we able to do this? Or you guys are only able to do this because of this, or you're only able to do this because of that, and things of that nature. But the thing is that if we still had a lot of student loan payments, and I mentioned student loans a lot because that was the majority of our $100,000 in debt, if we still had all of that, we would not be able to make the progress that we're able to make on our mortgage. I say that to say people think that what we're doing is impossible or crazy. It's because most people in America, they have a ton of payments. And so it seems so impossible to do because they know that all of their bills wouldn't allow them to do that. But we really focused on getting rid of that so that way in the future, we could use that money for other things. Another thing that really helped put us ahead, it helped lower our monthly payment on this mortgage and lower the amount of interest that we'd have to pay even initially, was after we paid off our consumer debt, we spent the next 18 months saving up for the down payment on this home. We knew we wanted to put down 20%. So that was something that it was hard at times, but it really was nothing compared to all the debt that we had just paid off and how much we had to work with that. This was easier. Instead of paying it to someone, paying our money to someone, instead the money's going straight to our savings account. We are getting paid interest on our savings account. We get to watch that money grow. That's definitely the most amount of money that we've ever had in the bank at one time. So it was hard to see it go, but it was definitely worth it. And $1,070 is such a reasonable, affordable payment. It's something that we knew would be super affordable for us. When we left our apartment in 2020, that's the same amount of rent that we were paying for our 2-bedroom apartment. The same apartment that we felt like was closing in on us with me being pregnant and having a toddler. So now to know that we're paying the exact same amount of money for our home that we built, I'm at peace already. Even with having a mortgage still, I'm already at peace knowing that we can afford our expenses if something were to happen. There's something in the news, it seems like every other week, about layoffs, mass layoffs. We're seeing videos online of people losing their job. They had no expectation of that happening. They did not plan at all for them to lose their job. I really, really feel for those people because that's terrifying. It's scary. If it's something where you say just bought a home or just took out a car loan, you're wondering how you're going to be able to pay for that. But that's exactly what we're trying to set ourselves up for in the future. For some reason, if we had some type of loss of income in our home, knowing that we have no mortgage payment to worry about, we would be so at peace. If you're on Instagram, you know about Instagram Reels. I think that they also show up on Facebook for some people. So the Instagram Reel, if you're not familiar with it, is similar to YouTube Shorts, which is typically just a very short video, maybe 60 seconds or less, putting anything up that you want. So at times we'll take some of our YouTube Shorts and we'll put them on our Instagram Reel. If you don't have us on Instagram, it's the same name, Live Without Loans. One of our reels that we posted, it specifically was a snippet from this video right here, speaking about how much we've paid so far on this mortgage. The vast majority of the comments that we got, they were very positive. They felt inspired, motivated, which is really what we'd love to do, is to motivate others because we are so motivated to reach the goals that we're trying to achieve. And so we share our progress and everything like that on any platform that we can, really. With us being so passionate about debt payoff, we know that this is the life that we want to live, and this is our ultimate goal. At this point in our lives, there really isn't anything that anyone could say to us to make us not want to pay off our home or not want to live a debt-free lifestyle or a simple lifestyle. That's just how we choose to live our lives. There's nothing wrong with a healthy debate or someone giving their opinion saying, well, I'd rather do this or I'd rather do that. But a lot of the comments on this reel is people telling us what to do with our lives. We've had people tell us that we're financially not smart for paying off our home, that we have a poverty mindset because we're choosing to do that instead of investing in rental properties, taking ourselves further into debt, etc. We know that that's always the argument. That's always going to be the argument. Should someone pay off their home or should someone invest? As we all know, investing is not guaranteed. If I pay an extra $500 on my mortgage every month, it is guaranteed that I am going to save money in the long run. And that's being on interest. It's guaranteed that my balance is going to continue to decrease more than what it would have if I had just paid my minimum payment. That is guaranteed. Us investing, it's not guaranteed, but of course, yes, we do invest. We've been doing so consistently for the past couple of years, and we have no plans to stop doing that. After we pay off this mortgage, we plan to do it a lot more aggressively than we've already been doing it. We don't talk about our investing plans that much on this channel because it's really not our focus. It's not something that we're as passionate about as paying off this house. So I usually don't let things like that get to me, like people's opinions or what people say about us and what our plans are with our money, because I'm so confident in our ability to someday be completely financially free that I don't let anyone else's opinions deter my mindset. It's more so wanting to defend yourself and defend something that you're passionate about. Obviously, anytime we see something on social media, the comment sections are public. The comment section of this video is public, so people are free to say whatever they want. With it getting as much attention as it did for the past week, it was hard to not respond. I definitely started to clap back at people a little bit, speaking my mind too, and just letting them know, like, hey, at the end of the day, this is our life. We can do whatever we want. We're gonna keep doing what we want with our finances. There is nothing wrong with us having a different path to financial freedom than you are. Obviously, with us having this YouTube channel, we're very transparent. We lay it all out for everyone. We talk about a lot of things that are considered taboo. Other people don't typically lay out their finances the same way that we do. We talk about exactly how much money we've made. We talk about exactly where we spend our money on. We break down everything we can in the video, not only for documenting this journey, but to motivate others, to also help people see another side of debt, because debt is so normal in America. It is the normal thing to do, to dig yourself into debt, and it's so easy to get into debt and it's very hard to get out of it. It's not easy work. Another thing that someone said to us this week was that because we live in Ohio and because we have a 6-figure income, that it's easy to do whatever we're doing, which honestly, that was that was one of the biggest insults that probably anyone could have said to us, because we know how hard we work and there is nothing easy about everything that you have to do to not only pay off consumer debt, but to pay off a mortgage. And anyone who is doing that, unless your income is a great substantial amount of money, then you know that it's not easy to do what we're doing. So yeah, they're a little mean to us this week. They were a little insulting and they were not showing a whole lot of mercy. With us being as transparent as we are about our income and things like that, we're very blessed for the income that we have. We know that there are people out there whose households may not be 6 figures, but our base salary is just barely over 6 figures. We've only gotten there within the past couple of years, and we attempt to make more money on top of that, like I've mentioned, with doing overtime and side hustles and all of that. But we also have to think about There's people out there who make my husband and I's income combined all on their own as a single individual person. There are videos everywhere online where people talk about what they're doing with their 6-figure income and things like that. And that's great. And I'm so happy for them to be able to make that much money. That's great. I just don't want people to think that they're not able to achieve some of the same things that we've been able to achieve because of income or because of the debt amount. You really actually can. The thing is that the amount of home that we decided to purchase may not be the same as the amount of home that people would purchase if they make half our income. So to compare your situation to our situation, it may not always be the exact same thing because our situations are completely different. That's just something that people should keep in mind. It goes hand in hand with comparing yourself to others. Before you decide to do that, make sure that everything lines up and everything that's going on in their life is the exact same thing as what's going on in your life before you compare your situation to them and say, oh, well, I can't do it. I can't pay off my mortgage. I can't pay off these student loans. I can't pay this car loan because they make so much extra money than I do, or the houses in their state are so much cheaper than they are in my state. But also, in that situation, I would then argue that if your houses are so much more expensive than they are here where we live, you probably have a higher average income in your state as well. So as far as saving money or what would be best for the financial side, or being very calculated and saying, well, you'd make more money doing this rather than the amount of money that you're saving by doing that, I'd have to disagree. We're still saving a ton of money. The cost of $100,000 is the cost of a house on top of our mortgage anyway. At the end of the day, it's called personal finance. Everyone is going to do whatever works best for them. We never look to force our opinions on others or tell other people what they should be doing with their lives. It's more so us expressing what we do with our life and what we believe in, and just trying to have other people view things a little bit differently. With debt being so normal, just reminding people that we decided to do this with our finances and we have a lot of breathing room to do other things with our money that we otherwise wouldn't have had the opportunity to do. So anytime that we have any videos on this channel, it's more so just to help other people look into a different lens. Never want anyone to take it as us trying to force our opinions on others, but I do just feel that people could be a little bit more kind with the whole investment / mortgage argument. It's always going to be a but or an exception or an asterisk to anything that's done. And that's what I've learned. The internet is cruel. I can't even imagine what people who actually have a ton of followers do. Like people out there who have millions and millions of followers who comment on their post every single day. I know that that can be really toxic for other people who have to deal with those comments a lot. When other people talk about what they're doing with their life or things that make them happy, things that bring them joy, just a reminder, if possible, if there's going to be anything hateful that anyone plans to say, just second guess it a little bit and just say, how is this going to be received? Am I really coming off like I'm trying to help someone? Or am I coming off like I'm trying to insult them? Either way, you can say whatever you want in our comment section. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. I truly believe that. So comment down below and let us know how you felt about today's video. If you are new, please join us on this journey to pay off our house. Subscribe, like this video if you want to see more, and we will see you in our next video.